YouTubers, welcome back for another adventure. This 1985 ATC125M, I picked it up during the winter. It was part of a mega deal. We got the TRX 200 running, then there was kind of this. When I looked at this thing, I thought the word parts. And that's all I thought, right? I mean, the recoil's on there, but it's like locked up, pulled out, trashed. I just thought parts. I mean, the tires are square. I had to drag it here, like literally drag. It's kind of a mess. So somebody went through the trouble of putting a really nice pull bar in the back. Anyhow, I'd like to see if it'll run. Right now it appears to have a yellow jacket nest in it, so I gotta get rid of them. And then we'll get the recoil off of it. See if this thing has any life left in it or if it's dead. By the way, a quick warning, these metal seats, luckily, I think I took the pad off and put it in the cab of the truck, but a lot of times when they're this bad, the wind kind of picks them up, and on your way home the seat flies away. So do beware that if you got a metal seat, right, it could go all Krispy Kreme, and then you're gonna lose what is left. It's interesting because a lot of times the vinyl and the foam survives, and then this is all that's left of the metal. So before you get too far into these things, you want to give them a look over, see what kind of trouble you got cooking. It looks like it still has the right carburetor on it. It looks really pretty complete. Still got an air cleaner box. I think these tires might even be originals. Wow, had an air filter in it. The shifter's off for whatever reason. The toolbox is empty, but once again, it doesn't look all trashed up here. The exhaust looks complete. You got a little rust through there, but once again, let's take a look at the oil. These are all things that you kind of look at to see what kind of trouble you're in. That looks pretty good. The shifter shaft doesn't look too stripped up. Well, it still shifts too. Chain is pretty rusty, but you know, the sprocket looks good. Looks like they yanked the guard off for whatever reason. I'm hoping it's not seized. It's got oil in it, so I'm really hoping it's not seized. What's up next? Right, get the recoil off. Right, you guys know the drill. It's, well, it's got all its bolts too. I got my fingers crossed. This might be a winner. So we're talking hope against hope here. The recoil has a problem, but the engine isn't turning over. You know, somebody also beat this plug in. That could be leaning up against the flywheel. Anyway, I'm you always run into, you know, what antic did somebody commit here? I'm gonna go get a screwdriver and try to turn this over. By the way, if you leave your string to hang like this during the winter, this gets wet and it'll wick moisture in here, and some of these you take off and there's literally water pouring out of them because of that. So, you know, do your maintenance, and quite honestly, try not to leave it so that snow builds up. You know, you don't get snow drifts over it. Well, the moment of truth. Oh, that ain't good. That ain't good at all. This might be a short video, guys. Trick is to get a couple RPM out of it. Feels like, I don't know, it might be okay. I think it might have been this thing. I'm you know, I'm going to pull the plug, then we'll tickle the starter and see what it does. Feels like it might have something there. Boy, this one, we might be pulling it out of the jaws of death. So here's the plug. I've seen worse. It was only put in a couple of threads. That's bad. A lot of times that'll allow, once again, snow drift and water to get into the cylinder. So I'm going to clean this up. I'll use it again because I'm cheap. And in the meantime, let's throw the compression tester on it. So we installed the jump pack, red to the battery, black to the body, and we have, so the plug is obviously out. I took the slide out of the carburetor. By the way, this is locked up. That's not a good thing. Got to get these off. Be careful with these. They snap easy, you know. Use blaster or something on them, whatever your loosener is, but because you snap those off, now you got trouble. You got to pull the engine before you could go forward, and pulling the engine with that chain and all is a bit of a pest. So you kind of want to avoid that. By the way, yellow jackets live in there. Ask me how I know. Yeah, the choke works, but the slide doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if I'm bringing this carburetor back to life or not. These things are, well, it's kind of seasy, but these are a pest. Getting them in the right position so that you can get gas into them without hooking up both lines. Anyway, chipping away. Compression test is next. So it's breathing plenty of air, right? We took the slide out. Round and round we go. Looks like just barely over 90. These Honda horizontals are not renowned for having a lot of compression, so that's not a big surprise. Also, it's been sitting, and that's a dry compression. The crankcase is full of oil. I think I showed that to you guys. Maybe not, but anyway, the crankcase is full of oil, and the oil looks good. Doesn't look like it has any water in it. I think I'm gonna squirt a little oil into that spark plug hole, and kind of just to show you the difference in compression when you do a wet. So I put oil in the spark plug hole and turned it around slowly a few times just to make sure it's nice and distributed. It's hoping for a lot more. I guess, what did I get, about 100 out of it? That should be more than enough to start, and probably after it starts and runs a little bit, the valves will seat themselves a little better, and she'll clean herself up, and it'll probably be good for somewhere around 120 wet. I'm a little surprised. Normally they come up more than that when you put oil in the cylinder. Well, such is life. So we followed the wires from the pulse generator out, and I popped the blue one. Blue one goes to the input, the pulse generator input to the CDI. That's what the red wire does. Black is ground, so that green wire goes to black, which is pulse generator ground. We got a ground on the head, which is the other side of the spark coil, the ground side of the spark coil, then the hot side of the spark coil. So we got everything all hooked up. I just put some gas in there. It looks like it drank it all the way down, but hopefully the carburetor's full at this point. Anyway, I'm gonna get the tripod. We'll see if we can't get this thing to start. I'd love to get a ride out of it, but it looks like You hear that? Not a good sign. And this one, not as bad. This one looks a little different than the thread pattern, so that might be a replacement tire. Anyway, to get this thing out and riding, I am going to have to throw a set of tires on it and do something with the shifter. So let's be satisfied if this puppy starts. Anyway, to the tripod. Okay, let's see what this thing wants to do. So, this is a cold start, right? Let me just put a little gas in here. And see the ion, choke, throttle. Doesn't sound too bad. So it looks like it starts and it'll even run. To get a ride out of it, I gotta do something with this tire. I think I can get enough air into the front and hold it long enough to get a ride out of it. So I gotta smash a tire onto it, and I gotta smash a shifter onto it and a remote gas tank, and I think we'll actually be able to ride this thing. I don't have any clue what kind of shape the transmission's in. You guys probably noticed as it ran, it started to smoke less. Not unexpected. You know, I put oil into the cylinder to up the compression a little bit, so it probably took a little bit to burn that, and you know, things to break in and to clear the nasty and all. It sounded nice, actually. I was kind of happy with it. This thing has some miles on it. Yeah, I think it might have been rolled. This side looks a little low, but it doesn't look too bent up or anything. It actually looks pretty straight if you kind of run your eye. I mean, the throttle cable's there. It's a little frozen, but it's there. Pedals, you can see that's bent a little and that's bent a little more. but I've seen them way bent back, so that's not horrible. There's not a lot of wear on the pedals or the brake, though I think the brake is pretty dead. I don't know. This is probably could come back to be a rider. The back lift bar is nice. The tail light's nice. I even like the trailer hitch. Somebody put some time and effort into designing that. I wouldn't think it's professionally made, but somebody in high school shop probably got an A on it. Yeah, I'm happy. Generally speaking, I don't love these. I had the balloon tire version I was riding, and those had the slide back and forth pegs, and I hit something with one of the pegs, so my foot dropped to the ground, and then the back tire ran over my leg and pulled me off, and it just hurt like heck. It felt like somebody tore my leg out of the hip socket. So luckily these are rigid and easier to stay on. Luckily I wasn't going all that fast, but it still hurt like heck. I don't know, maybe I'll fall in love with it once I get a ride out of it. Just quickly, there is a character who was trying to sell one of these, trying to get money for it, like $4,500, and he fixed it up nice. And what he did is he cut this off here and extended the frame about 8 inches, I think it said. So just enough to make it a bit longer. He put, it looked like a 200S front end on it, so it had front suspension. And on the back, it looked like he put spacers or a bigger axle. So it was wider, it was longer, and it had front suspension. I think for an adult riding this, it would make it much safer and more comfortable. Though, with the front end further out front and only front suspension, unless you were riding on balloon tires, it would still be kind of mean in the back. With the high or low, as I recall about these things, they were pretty competent. You can put it in low first, and you know, it'd go up anything that the tires would grip on, and you could hang on and stay on the all-terrain vehicle. It was strong enough to climb anything. It was a mountain goat. So from a power point of view, these are fine. Once again, in first or second, low, not bad. From a speed point of view, if you're in high and you have the right tires on it, it wasn't quick, as in let me get to speed fast. But once you were rolling, it went faster than you really wanted to go, especially as a top-heavy person. You know, they'd get pretty swimmy. So that's all I have to say about this one. If you guys want to see it again with me riding it, just say yes somewhere in the video. If you really don't care, you might not see it. I might not bother. It's up to you guys. It's always cool to get a ride around the property, so you'll probably see it. But if you don't want to, tell me no. I don't want to see you ride that. All right, I want to thank you all for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Please remember, feet down, heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. I feel good about firing this thing again. I was just kind of ignoring it and calling it parts and just dismissing it as junk, but I'm glad I got it running. It's always nice to save a classic. Bye now.